Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Tsung Kong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Thupten Tarji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of the group practice tonight. From the southern realm, the chief of the netherworld, Siddhikarpa Bodhisattva. Sư Mụ, Tan Chân Gatso, Tutan Siddhi. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good evening, everyone. How do you do?
Aistero. Sarange. Hola, amigo. Te quiero mucho. Sugoi. Ichiba. Kimochi. Yumi. Yapi. Purin purin. Konbanwa. 今天我们是同修幽冥教主地藏王菩萨。
Today, we practice Siddhikarpa Bodhisattva, the savior of the netherworld.
地藏菩萨，其实他不是。
We all know
是在幽冥的世界。
that Siddhikarpa Bodhisattva is not just in the netherworld, as we know that there are the Siddhikarpa Bodhisattvas in the 6 paths or 6 realms, in the heavenly realm, human realm, the Asura realm. There are Siddhikarpa Bodhisattvas, as well as in the realms of the hells, hungry ghosts, and animal. So there are Siddhikarpa Bodhisattvas in the 6 realms. And we refer to him as the Siddhikarpa Bodhisattva with the great vow.
所有菩萨的发愿，以地藏王菩萨的发愿。
Because of the vows of all the bodhisattvas, Siddhikarpa Bodhisattva is the greatest.
在释迦牟尼佛
In the sutras, it's also mentioned that Sakyamuni Buddha
将来的世界
entrusted the future world
这个 佛法传播的责任赋予地藏王菩萨
entrusted the responsibility of propagating Buddha Dharma to Siddhikarpa Bodhisattva. So it showed that Siddhikarpa Bodhisattva
释迦牟尼佛非常器重
is someone that's highly valued by Sakyamuni Buddha. So the future heavenly beings and human beings are entrusted to Siddhikarma Bodhisattva. This is something that we saw in the Siddhikarma Sutra. Whether it's in Tantrayana or Mahayana, Siddhikarma Bodhisattva is most revered Bodhisattva. And he's also one of the 8 great Bodhisattvas. Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, Manjushri Bodhisattva, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, Maitreya Bodhisattva, Siddhikarma Bodhisattva, Akasagarva Bodhisattva, Vajrapani Bodhisattva, Viskambi Bodhisattva. Of these 8 great Bodhisattvas, Siddhikarma Bodhisattva is one with the greatest vow. Therefore, we refer to him as the Siddhikarma Bodhisattva with the greatest vow. And he's also one of the 8 primary deities of True Buddha School. Let me share a few jokes. The wife told the husband, "Honey, if one day you lost me, how would you feel?" And the husband replied, "It's like cooking without salt." And the wife was really happy. Wow, you're so cultured. So what you meant was that your life becomes meaningless and tasteless without me? And the husband said, "That's right. However, I will buy another bag of salt." Everybody thinks they're important, but not necessarily, because there's always replacements. If you don't have this, you may have that. Another joke. If you're a man, you should earn more money and travel, open your mind to see the world and to improve your quality. Don't always wonder if she loves you or not, because if you have money, even ghosts would like you. Because Cupid has retired, and nowadays romance is depending on the money god. That makes sense. The money god is the one who decides nowadays, because the world is getting more and more realistic, not realistic, but materialistic or pragmatic.
这也是夫妻之间的笑话哈。
Another joke between husband and
自
wife.
从结婚了以后，
After marriage,
老公都没有讲过我爱你。
the husband never say, I love you
这
again.
老婆非常的纳闷，
So
就
the
问老公
wife is
你为
really
什么结婚以后
upset and
从
asks the
来都不
husband,
说
how
爱我？
come you never say you love me after we got married?
老公回答，
And the husband
娶
replied,
你的那一天就已经说过了。
I have said it when I
如
married
果以
you.
后有变化，
If there is a
我会通
change
知
in
你。
the future, I will notify you.
意思是讲说，结婚以后就已经定了，
So after
不用再
marriage,
多讲
since it's
什么我
fixed,
爱你
there's no
啊。
need to keep
不用再
saying I
讲，
love you and all
如
those.
果有变化，他才会通知你。
He would only notify you if there's a change.
这是进入你问我答。
Now we will do the question and
台湾
answer.
莲花玉泉
Question from Taiwan, Lianhua Yuquan.
顶礼季恩根本上师莲生法王，感
Homage
谢圣尊慈悲。
to
弟子
the
有以
lineage
下
Guru
问题
Dharma
请
King
教
Lian
圣
Sheng.
尊，
Thank you for your
祈
compassion.
求
I have a
圣
few
尊
questions.
解
Please
惑。
resolve
一，
my
请问
questions.
圣尊，
1.
弟子
Grandmaster,
们在修金刚颂、
when
宝
we
瓶器、
practice the Vajra
佛火
chanting,
等人类
treasure
法
with
的
energy
时候，
yoga, inner
需
fire,
要
and
做
and
前
other
行
inner
七
tantric
支
practices,
及
do
后
we
行
also
回
need
向吗？
to do
还有一个问题
the
啊，
beginning part, the
在
7
修金刚颂、宝瓶
section
器、
beginning
佛
parts
火
as well as
内
the
法的时
ending
候，
part,
需要
dedication,
做前行七支
the metta
及
dedication in the
后
ending
行
part?
回向吗？这是第一个问题，他有3个
First
问题。
question,
第二个问
he
题，
has 3 questions. The
弟
second
子有
question,
灌顶过洗金刚后，
I have received the
可以念
empowerment
无
of
我母的
Hevajra.
心咒，
So can I chant
或可以
the
修
mantra of
无我母的
Nairatma
法
and
吗？
can I practice her,
灌顶过洗金
the
刚，
Nairatma?
不可以修无我母的，念无我母的心咒，
So
跟修无我母的法。第3个问题，
the third question,
吉祥洗金刚修法的观想中，
in the
洗
visualization
金刚
of
顶
the
上没有
Hevajra,
顶严的佛，
above the
洗金
crown
刚
of
的顶
Hevajra
上没
there
有
is
顶严的
no
佛，
Buddha.
可以观想洗金刚
So
顶上
can we
坐着
visualize
圣尊莲生佛活吗？
living Buddha Lian
或
Sheng
圣
to
尊
be
此
seated
活说出
on top of
洗
the
金刚
Hevajra's
顶严
crown?
的是
Or
哪一尊佛？
Can you please say which
那
Buddha
洗
is
金刚顶
seated
严上的是
on
哪
top
一尊
of
佛？
Hevajra's crown?
弟子磕首，感谢圣尊慈悲回答，祈愿圣尊佛体安康，常住
With my head
世间。
bowed, I
感
would like to
恩
offer
心
my
圣尊
gratitude to Grandmaster for your
他第
compassionate
一个问
answer
题问的
and wish you health and
修金刚
longevity.
颂、宝瓶器、
The first
佛火
question is in the
等人内
practice
法
of
的
Vajra
时候，
chanting, treasure with
需要
energy
做
yoga,
前
inner
行七
fire,
支
and
及
other
后
inner
行
tantric
回向
practices?
吗？
Do we also need to perform the beginning and the ending part,
这个
ending
问
parts
题
of the
啊，
practice?
常常有人问，
Many people
例如我们
frequently
是在
ask
修
this
本尊
question.
法的时候，
When we perform the
我
deity yoga
觉得时间长的话，
or the yidam
你
practice,
可以修前行七
if you
尊
have time,
跟后
you
行回向。
can include at the beginning
那么中
parts,
间
the
是修
7
正
beginning
行
parts, and as well as the ending
啊，
parts,
平时我
which
们
is
修
the
本
merit
尊法的时
dedication,
候，
etc.
就是要前行七支，那么
And
后行
typically,
的
when we perform our
回向，
practice, Dharma practice,
回
we
向
do it from the
赞颂
beginning to
都
the
可以的。
end, which is the praise and merit dedication.
但是如果是在飞机上，
But if, say, on the plane,
啊，你就不用做前行七支，
you don't need
或
to
者是后
do the
行回
7
向。
beginning
好像在
parts,
飞
7
机
parts
上
in the
啊，在坐
beginning
公车
or
上啊，
the
坐捷运
ending
啊，
parts. Like
这
if you're
时间
on
很
public
短，
transport, or
你要
you
修
only
禅
have
法，
a
或
very
者是
short
说你很
time
忙，
and you want to do a
啊，今天就
practice,
把
or you're very
前行
busy,
七支跟后行回向，
then you can skip the
你就
beginning and
做一
ending
个
parts
正行，
and you just do the main part.
其实是可以
It's okay.
的啊。先观想，
First you
然后
visualize
结手印，
and then form
再
the
做
mudra
持咒，
and then chant the
再做
mantra
入三昧地，这是
and
正
then you
行。
enter samadhi.
我们正行就
That's the
是
main
观想、
part,
结印、
which is visualization, forming the mudra, chanting the mantra, and entering samadhi.
那么前面的是前行七支跟后行回向。总之
So
我讲平时
the
修法，
7 parts
最好
in
都
the
要做。
beginning and the ending
时间确
should
实
be
是不
done
够，
normally for your
或
Dharma
者你要
practice.
上班了，
But if you
实在不
truly
够
running out of time, say
啊，
you don't have
临
enough
时有
time
事情，
before work
那你就
or
修
you
个
have
正行，
urgent things,
也
then
是
you can
可以
just
的。
do
我
the
们
main
是
part.
一般来
That's
讲
okay
是
too.
要做，但不做也可
Generally
以。
speaking, you should
那
do
么
it,
内法也是
but
一
it's
样，
okay if you don't do it.
内
It
法呢，你修
applies to
金
the
刚
inner
颂
tantric practices as well.
啊，直接
When you
直接观
practice the
想咒
Vajra
印旋
chanting,
转，
you can
或者修
directly
宝瓶去，
visualize
把
the
上
mantra
行气跟
syllables
下行
revolving.
气
Or
密
when you
合
perform
成
the
为宝，
Trashavis energy yoga,
或者
the
修着火，
upper body part,
你观
chi
想
and lower chi merging
这
to
个
form the vase.
三角火，
Or for the inner fire, you visualize the
那个
triangular fire
都接帕姆，
and Doje Pamo.
观想着火，
You
然后
visualize
用
the
完
inner
全呼
fire
吸
and you use
使着
complete
火升起
breathing
来。
to ignite the inner fire or tumo.
这是修着火的方法，跟修宝瓶
That's
气，
the
跟修
method
金刚
for
颂。
practicing inner fire, Trashavis energy,
那么在
yoga
修
and
金
Vajra
刚颂、
chanting.
宝瓶气、着火，你如果有时间，
If you have time
有时间的话，其实你也可以做
for
前
these
行七
practices, you
支，
can still do the
后行回向，
beginning and the
都可以。
ending part,
因为这个也是有一种
the merit dedication,
功德。
etc. Because they also generate a merit.
那你如果说你时间比较少，
However, if
那
you
你
lack
一样的，
time
你就修金刚颂，或者
and
修宝
all
瓶
the
气，
same,
或者
when you
修着
practice
火，
Vajra chanting, Trashavis energy yoga, or inner fire practices,
没有用前行七支跟后行回向，
and you
也是可以的。
skip the
这是看你
beginning
自己现在
7
目前
parts
是不
and the
是
ending
有
merit
时间够
dedication,
用，完
it's
全
okay
取决于
too.
自己。
So you decide for your
这
own
是回答你
if
的
you
第
have
一个
time
问
or
题
not.
啊，回答
That's
你
the
的第一个
answer
问
to
题
the first
完全
question.
是在取决在你的时间够跟不够。
So it
第二个
depends
他问
on
的，
the
弟子
time
有
you
灌
have.
顶过洗金刚，
Second question,
可以念无我母的
I
经
have
咒，
received the
或
empowerment
可以
of
修无我
Hevajra.
母
Can I
法
chant
吗
the？ mantra of Hevajra's
这洗金刚
consort,
本身来讲起来，
Nairatma and
这个
practice
吉祥喜
her
金
Dharma
刚
practice.
吉轮金刚拳有这
The
一
Sri
本这个书
Hevajra
这个在发行
Tantra,
而且是很厚
the
其
auspicious
中有喜金刚的种种
Hevajra
最早
with the
出
string
现的
of
五
the
大
sweet
金刚
nectar.
法第一个
So
金刚
that's
法
the
就是喜金刚
a text for Hevajra.
其
Of
实
the
也
five
是
Herukas, the first who appeared was
密教的
Hevajra.
祖师白教的祖师
So the
Marba
lineage gurus of
向那
Kagyupa,
罗巴上师
Tantrayana,
学习的时候
Guru Marba, when
他
he
有带
was
回了喜
studying
金刚
with
带
Naropa,
回到西藏他是第
he
一
brought
个
back
五
Hevajra
大
to
金刚
Tibet.
法第一个喜金刚
So
第一个出现
Hevajra
的是喜金刚
is the first Heruka of the five Herukas,
后来
who
也不知道
appeared.
怎么变化
was the first to
喜金
appear.
刚就成了萨迦教
And
本
then,
身很重
not
视的
sure
金刚法
what
就是
happened,
萨迦教
Hevajra
花教
became
花教最重视的
most important Heruka practice in the Sakyapa.
有一本书就是吉祥喜金刚仪
So
轮甘露拳
there is this book called
这一部经
the
典
Sri Hevajra,
是可以买得到。
Sri meaning
当然，喜
auspicious
金刚的佛母呢就是
Hevajra,
无我母，就
the
是无我母。
spring of sweet nectars.
那么
And the
你灌
consort
顶
of
过喜金
Hevajra
刚，
is Nairatma.
自然
So if you have received the
你可以
empowerment of
念
Hevajra,
他的佛母的咒，就是无我母
naturally
的心咒。
you are allowed to chant the mantra of his consort, Nairatma.
爹哇比祖哇德拉吽吽吽发扎所哈，是喜金刚的咒语。
That's the mantra of Hevajra, right?
那无我母的心咒，谁会
And the
念？
mantra of Nairatma. Anybody can
会念
chant
的
it?
举手。
Please raise your hand.
举手，你举手了。
Did you raise your hand?
好，还有谁会念？因为
Anybody?
没有麦克风，声音很小，没有人听到。
Give the microphone. Cannot hear.
无我母的心咒，
The mantra of Nairatma.
无我母的心咒这么少人会啊？
Not many people know, eh?
师尊，你好，是 Om Hum Fata Soha。
Om Hum 发扎所哈。 大家认为怎么样？
What do you think?
那个丹真，你一直点头表示你会，
So, Tanchen,
对
you
吗？
were nodding your head,
对，
so you
那
know.
就是
So, was that correct? Yes, then that's it.
可以念无我母的心咒。因为喜金刚、
So
五大
you
金刚
can
法，
chant
一般来讲都是
The
双
Heart
声，
mantra of Nairatma,
都是双声。
because for
也有
the
单声的，
five
就是在佛
Herukas,
像的
most of them
雕佛
are
的，愿意雕
in
双
dual
声就是双声，
body.
愿意
dual
雕单声就
bodies
是单声。
So it depends
单
on
声
the
的就叫
sculptor.
独雄，
They're single
独
body
雄
and dual bodies.
独是独自的独，
So the
雄
single body
是
is
雄伟
called
的
the
雄，独雄。
solitary hero.
当然是可以修无我母的法，
Of course, then you can
当然
practice
是可以修无我母的
the
法。
Nairatma
喜金
Dharma
刚
as well.
灌顶过喜金刚，
Once you
可以念
receive the
无我
empowerment
母
of
的心咒，
Hevajra,
也可以念无我母，
then
修无我母的法。
you're
喜
allowed
金刚
to
旁边
chant Nairatma's
有
mantra
这
and
个
practice
八位
her
空心
Dharma. So around Hevajra there are
他的
8
脚
dakinis,
踩的
and
是
his
四
feet
种，
are stepping on
只是
4
四
kinds,
魔，
4
脚踩着四
maras.
魔，有四
His
个魔，
feet are stepping on 4
魔，
maras:
一
Mara
个是
of
烦
death,
恼魔，
Mara of
一个是
affliction,
天子魔，
with the celestial Mara,
另外一个呢是五阴魔，
and the
五阴
Mara
五阴
of
魔，五阴魔，
the
他
5
脚踩的四
skandhas.
魔，
So his feet are stepping on 4
他
maras,
周围有8位空心，
and he's surrounded by 8
8
dakinis.
位空心。你看了这个《吉祥喜金刚纪轮甘露拳》，就知道。
So if you read the Sri Hevaja Tantra book, then you would know.
那第3个问题，吉祥喜金刚
His
修
third
法的观
question.
想中，喜金
In
刚
the
顶上没
visualization
有
of
顶
Hevajra
莲的佛，
Heruka, there
可能
is
没有把它
no
画出来，
Buddha on top
没
of
有把它画出来。
Hevaja's crown.
所有的金刚
Maybe
法，
it was not painted,
5大金刚法，
but all
大
the
部分都是
5
金刚
major
萨埵，
Heruka
有后日都有一个后日，
typically come from
有一个后
Vajrasattva.
有一个后日所画出来。
They were all transformed
the
from
Shinto
home syllable,
主要的咒日
and the
种子日
primary
都是由后
mantra
所画出来
syllable
的，
or
一
the
个
sit
后
syllable
所画出来，
are
后
home.
所画出来的。
They transform from
那么
home
喜金刚
syllable.
顶檐上，它可以做
So on top of
金刚
Hevaja's
萨埵，
crown, you can also place
可以做金刚
Vajrasattva.
萨埵，可以做金刚萨埵。这是
Vajrasattva,
五佛的法王子，
which is
金
the
刚
Dharma
萨埵
prince
是
of
金刚
the
顶上
5 Dhyani
可以
Buddhas.
观想
So
金刚
above
萨埵，
Hevaja's
金刚萨埵
crown,
是
you can
密教的
visualize Vajrasattva,
教主
which is
金
the
刚萨埵。
forefather of Tantrayana,
他
Tantric
问
Buddhism.
可以观想喜金刚顶上坐着圣尊莲生活活
So
吗？
can we visualize Grandmaster Living Buddha Lien Sung on top of Hevaja's
我
crown?
是讲了喜金刚顶檐上面可以做金刚萨埵。
I have said that Vajrasattva.
他问喜金刚顶上可以坐着圣尊莲生活活吗？
So the question is, can
金
Living
刚萨
Buddha
埵
Lien
回答
Sung be seated on top of Hevaja's crown? I am asking Vajrasattva to answer, please. 还是做金刚萨埵好。 It's best to visualize Vajrasattva.
我坐在喜金刚上面不用。
No need to have
不用
me
做
seated on top
不
of
用坐在喜
Hevajra.
金刚上面，
I don't need to sit there.
只是传法的是师尊而已。那上面可以做金刚萨埵。我们再讲个笑话哈。有个妈妈在帮儿子
Let
做
me
早
share
餐，
another joke. A
the-
mom was making
Dan
breakfast for
是
his
5岁，
for two
Kevin
sons,
是3岁，
Ryan, 5 years old,
两个人
and
争着要
Kevin,
吃
3-year old.
第一块的煎饼。妈妈就想来个机
And
会
they were
教
fighting for the first pancake.
他说：“儿子，
So mom make use of
如
the
果耶
chance to
稣在
teach
这
the
里，
children.
他一定会讲，让我的兄弟先吃吧。如果耶
If
稣
Jesus were
在，
here,
他不自己先
he
吃，
would definitely say, let my brother eat it first.
让他的兄弟先吃。这个 Dan 就转身对
And the big brother
Kevin 讲
told the younger brother, Kevin,
你来当耶稣。
why don't you be the Jesus?
这个有的想抢先，有的抢大小。
Some
小的时
people
候啊，
want to be
我想
first.
起
Some people
我们
want
小
to
的
be
时候，
to have the big one.
我是
When I was little,
最大的，我是家里
I was the
小孩子，
eldest
我是
in my family.
长子，我是最大的，底下有4个妹妹，另外还有一个最小的弟弟。
I had 4 younger
6个小孩。
sisters and 1 younger brother, so a total of 6
每次
children.
我妈妈在切蛋糕啊，
And when my
我们
mom
6个人就
cut
站
a
在
cake,
灯
all
旁
6
边，
of us
我妈妈就
would
切蛋糕，
stand around
一块
her,
蛋糕要切成6块，6份，
and
这是
she
给我
had
们6
to
个小孩
cut
子
into 6 pieces for the 6 children.
啊，大家都看着那个蛋糕，
Everybody was
切切切，
looking at the cake
大家都很注意。
and cutting and cutting, and
为
everybody
什么很注意？
paid attention. Why?
就是想要切的，因为用刀子切不会
Because
大小
cutting
不太
with
一样
the knife, sometimes they're
每个
not
人都想
exactly
拿
the same.
最大块
And
的
everyone wanted the biggest piece.
每一次伸手最快的。
And the one who was fastest,
我母亲哦，是懂得大家的心理，
my
这6
mom
个小孩子的心理
understood
她都知道，
the
所以她是越切越小。
temperaments of her children. So the more she cut,
然
the
后
smallest,
我那
the
个
smaller
第一
it
个
gets.
大妹，
It
第一个
got.
大妹，
So the
她一定是
the
先
oldest
伸手
of my
心里
sisters
很快把她
would
最
be
大块
really
的
fast, and she would get the biggest one right away.
那这就是人的一种习性，他总是要
So
拿
that's
最
a
大的。
kind of
第一
habitual
个
tendency of a human being, human nature. She always wanted the
抢都
biggest
抢
piece,
给他。
and I
我
always
那大
lost
妹
to her.
是每一次都想要拿最大的。
The oldest,
这
youngest
是人的心理
sister, she always wanted the biggest one. That's human nature.
所有的同学们都说小明的脸像屁股。
All
这
the
个人的脸
classmates
像
said
屁股也不
that
容易
Xiaoming's
怎么会
face
讲他
looked
的
like
脸像屁股呢？同学们
the
都说
bottom,
小明的脸
like
像屁股，
butts. That's
小
not
明就很
easy,
伤
huh?
心，跑
So
出去，
when Xiaoming heard
来
that,
到
was
了
very
一口
sad,
井的旁边，
and he got
他
to
把
a
头
well
伸到井里，
and
想看
stuck
看自己
his
究
head
竟是不是真的像屁股。
above the well to look at his
正当
own face
他把
if
头伸进去
it
时，
looks like
井底
the
下
bottom.
既然有挖井的工人，
And he
突然
heard
朝他大
a
喊
well digger shouted to him,
你不要把那个大便拉下来，如果拉下来你就死定了。
Please don't poop there, otherwise you're dead.
这个也是讲说他的脸
So
像屁股。
that meant that his face was really like the
不过到一
bottoms.
个井边，可见那时候还没有镜子。我说我们
So
照镜子就知道了嘛。
They must not have mirrors then, because he had to go to a well to see his
看
own
那个井
face.
里面的水，
Otherwise, he could just see his face in the mirror.
带着儿子小明去吃早餐。
brought my son to eat breakfast,
很小，很可爱。
and at the next table there was a beautiful lady
小朋友，
who
你爸爸
loved
要跟我走了。
the kid. It was very cute, and she teased him, "Your dad is following me. He doesn't want you anymore." And Xiaoming didn't even look up
我妈妈常
and
常说，
say,
只有瞎了眼
"But
才
auntie,
会看上我
only a
爸爸。
blind person would want my dad." My mom often
我好像
said.
有记得小明写一首诗啊，
I remember Xiaoming
好像
wrote
上
a
个礼拜
poem.
讲过。
I think I told the joke last
妈
week.
妈像一朵漂亮的莲花，
Mom is like a beautiful lotus,
爸爸
and
就像
Dad
一团
is like
烂泥巴，
a mud,
烂泥巴。
like mud, a pool of mud.
但是呢，为什么
But
妈妈
why
爱
Mom
爸爸？
loves Dad?
原来啊，清净的莲花
Because
也
the
离不
pure
开泥巴
lotus cannot live
好像有这首
cannot
诗
live
吧
apart from the mud.
原来啊，这个漂亮的莲花也离不开泥巴。
So a beautiful lotus
也是有
cannot
道理
live apart from mud. So it makes
因为
sense.
佛出世间，每一个修行的人
Because the
都
Buddha
要在娑婆世界
lives
上修
behind the world, but all spiritual cultivators have to cultivate in the
所谓
Saha
五
world.
浊恶世。
You
阿弥陀
cannot
经
be
讲，娑婆
apart
世界是五
from
浊恶世。
the contaminated world,
污浊的，我们这个环
very
境是很污浊的
contaminated
污浊恶
and
世
turbid, the evil
但
world.
是五浊恶世才能够修行。
But only in such an evil,
佛
turbid
经常
world
常提到，在天
that
上
you
很
can
难修
cultivate spiritually.
因为在
In the
天
Buddhist
上太
Sutras,
快
it's
乐了，
written
他们不
it's
想
very
修。
difficult to cultivate spiritually in heavens because
在
there are
地狱道
too
太
much
苦了，
joy and pleasure there.
在畜生道
And
也
in
不能
hells,
修
it's
行，
too much suffering. And
在
in
恶鬼
animal
道
realm, you
太
cannot
苦了，
cultivate.
肚子饿，哪还
In
谈
the
到修
hungry
行？
ghost realm, it's also too
在
much
地狱道
suffering. You're
天
so
天在受苦，
hungry,
也不
you
能修
can't
行，太苦。
cultivate.
所以太苦
The same in
太
the
热
hells.
都不能
So
修行，
you
只有在
cannot
娑婆
cultivate
世界，
spiritually
因为
if there
有
are too
苦
much
有乐，
happiness and too much suffering. Only in the Saha world,
你才
with
能够修
both
行。
happiness and suffering, you able to
这就是
cultivate
说，我们在
spiritually.
人道是最好修行，
So the human realm
离
is
开
the
了人道
best place
就
to
修行
cultivate spiritually.
就比较困难。
In other realm, it would be
所
rather
以能够
difficult.
生在人道，而且可以
So
生
the
在
fact that
有
you
佛
can
法
be
听的地
reborn
方，
in the human realm and you can hear the Buddha Dharma is
也
very
能
crucial.
够你生在人道，你成为一个人，
So
而且
the fact that
你
you can
能
be a
够
human being,
听到佛
being
法，
born in the human realm, and you can hear Buddha
那就
Dharma,
是
that's,
可以讲，那是
we can
最
say
好
that that
的
is
经验。
the best
学习佛法
affinity,
最好
the
的
best causes and condition for studying Buddha Dharma.
没有女生会在6块腹肌
There's
跟
no
6间
woman
房子之间
would
选
choose
6块腹肌的。
the 6 packs from
这个
the
这个
muscles.
男人他有6块腹肌，
I mean, among the 6
那个
packs
男人
and
没有
6
6块腹
houses,
肌，
there's
但是
no
他有
woman
6
that
栋
would
房
choose
子。
the 6 packs.
你要嫁给哪一个？现在当然财神说了算。
Nowadays, of
她还
course,
是会嫁给6
the money
有
god
6间房子的。
has the say.
所以这里的答案是，所以别去
So
健身房，
the answer here,
努力
don't
工
go
作
to the
赚钱
gym,
吧。
just work harder and earn more money. No woman with 6 packs over
开健
6
身房的不要
houses.
怪我，
So those who
因
own
为有一个老头
gyms,
子
please
进到
don't
健
blame
身
me.
房，
There was an old man that went
他
into a
问里
gym
面的人，
and
问健身
asked
房里面的人
someone inside,
说练什么机器
what kind of machine should I
会让
train
女生很喜
so
欢？
that a woman
练
love
哪一
me?
种机器会让女生很喜欢
So
我？
which machine should I
那
use?
个健身房的教练看了
And
看
the
他，
trainer
你的健身房
sum
外
him
面
up
有一
and
个
say,
机器，
yes, there's a machine outside the gym, which is the ATM.
那个会让女生喜欢你，
Then the woman would love you
而不
if
是
you
健
use
身
that
房里
one,
面的机器。
not any machines inside the gym.
这也是有关于钱的。
This is
由
also
于家
related
里
to
面很
money
穷，到现在还是
because
个单身汉。
we're very poor.
朋
I'm
友
still
给我
single
介绍
until
一个女
now.
孩子，
So friends
老妈就陪我
introduced
去看。
a girl, and my mom went with me to
这个女
meet
孩子
her.
觉得还很满意。
And the girl
那回到家里呢，老妈就
agreed
问了：“你觉得那个女孩如何？”
and my mom asked me, so what do you think of the girl?
这个男孩单身汉讲
And
还可以啦，
I said, yeah, it's okay, but she's
有
kind
点
of
胖。
chubby.
老妈听了就讲
And mom
儿子
said, but son,
别挑了，
don't be so
难得
picky.
人家没有嫌弃我们，
You know,
我们
it's
家
good
这么
enough that she
将来啊，她
does
瘦
not
瘦
despise us.
是
We are
迟
so
早的事
poor. She would lose weight sooner. We're so poor, she would lose weight, right? Sooner or later.
不要嫌人家胖。好，我们讲维摩诘经。今天
Now
提
we
到
will talk about
功德
the
智
Vimalakirti
慧
Sutra.
亦修其
And
心。
today we will talk about
你们看啊，
they were endowed with
这应
merit
该没有
and
什么好
wisdom
讲的吧？
through mind training. See?
啊维
Reading
摩诘
this,
经
you don't think
里面的
there's
经
more
文
to say,
我们
right?
讲到功德智慧以修其心，
In the Vimalakirti Sutra,
这句话有什么好
it's
讲的？
written
就是用功德、
merit
用智慧
and
来
wisdom
修行，
to practice, to cultivate
这就
spiritually.
结束了嘛。这一句很简单，其实不然。
Actually,
里面
it's
有很
not so
大的结论。
simple. There is much more than meets the eye.
这维摩诘很厉害，他教你怎么讲。什么是功？
So
一个字一个字讲。什么是功？
let me decipher the character one by one, the word, the Chinese character one by one.
行善呐、
Virtue,
就是功。
merit. What is merit? It's
布施行善
generosity,
就是功。
giving, doing goods.
什么是
That's
德？
merit. And what is virtue?
行之在内，就是德。在你的身体里面，
Inside
那就
you,
是德。你的心
that's virtue. Your heart, mind is virtue.
功是属于外的，
Merit
布施
is
行善
external.
德是属于
Giving,
内
doing good, and virtue is internal.
内在的修养。
So The inner cultivation is virtue.
这就是功德两个字的解释。
So that's the explanation of merit and
什么是
virtue.
智慧？
And what is wisdom?
这个智是行以外的，行以外的
is
就是智。
is expressed externally, and hui
就行以内的
it's
就是慧。
conducted internally.
那么智
So usually
有形的。
智慧 is translated as wisdom. So
慧
zi is
是
tangible
空的，是无形的，
and hui is empty
这佛
or
法的慧
intangible.
就是象征着空。
So the hui of
外
Buddha
在的
Dharma
智
is the symbol
就
of
象征
emptiness,
着有。
and the external wisdom
再来，我
or
们讲
zi
功德两个字，
signifies
外在的布
existence.
施行善就是有，
So the
内在
external
的德
acts of
就是
giving and good deeds,
这里面有空跟有，
that's existence, and then the internal virtue is emptiness. So there's this wisdom of both
空有
emptiness and
空
existence.
是有，
Merit
德
is
是无，
existence, virtue is
是
emptiness,
有，慧
and
就是空。
wisdom, the external wisdom is existence, and internal
以修
wisdom
其心
is
这个都可以
emptiness.
拿来做修养，做你的修行，
So
作为你的
you can use
自己
all
本身的
this
修行。
as your spiritual
那
cultivation.
么维摩诘讲，这里面就提到《金刚经》了，功是有
And
为
here we talk about the Vajra Sutra. Merit
德
is the
是
conditioned
无为法。
Dharma, and virtue is the unconditioned Dharma.
那我们修心是怎么修呢？
And how do we
不
practice
是
our
有
mind?
为，也不
It's
是
not
无为，
conditioned, and it's also not
而是
unconditioned.
无为而为。
But you act without condition.
所以这
So
一
it's
句啊
not that no action,
有三个要点，
but you act without
一个是
condition.
有为，
So there are
一个是
three key
无为，
points here.
一
One
个是
is
无为而为。
is
金刚经里
conditioned,
面有讲过，
or you act,
一切
or
有为，
non-action, action, non-action,
如
and
梦
act
幻
without
泡影，
condition. The Vajra Sutra
如
states
露
that
亦如
all
电，
conditioned
应作
Dharma
如是观。
is like a dream, an
金刚经里面
illusion,
讲，
a bubble, a
就
shadow.
是有为，
So we
也是空
should
嘛。
visualize existence that way.
你做多
So
少善事，
even
其实
actions,
也是空啊。
they're all empty.
都
How
是
much
有
good
为，
deeds have you done? They're
有
all
为其实
empty.
也是空，只是世人不知道，
So conditioned
以为
Dharma,
有为啊，有为
because by
就
doing,
是好，
actually it's
就是
empty.
不一
But
定
sentient
啊，
beings
有
don't
所作
know.
为或怎么样的，
They think that by doing is a good thing, but not necessarily.
也等于是没有的，也
It's
是
actually
无
the
为。
same as
那么什么
non-action.
是无为呢？
And what is non-action?
按照释迦牟尼佛所讲的，
According to
所
Sakyamuni
谓
Buddha,
有为，就是你想要得到名，
acting
得
or
到利，
doing
或者
is
想得到
if you want to gain fame, benefits,
设法，设法想要得到房子、汽车，
or
想要得到，
you want some houses,
你想
cars,
得到什么，都是
or you
属于
want to
有为
get something, they all considered conditioned Dharma.
那么这些有为法
And all the conditioned Dharma,
空的
at the end,
我们知道的
is all empty, as we
那
all
什么是
know.
无为法呢？
And what is the unconditioned Dharma? Is you don't expect anything. That's unconditioned Dharma. And conditioned Dharma is worldly, and unconditioned Dharma is out of the worldly. Out of worldly. But Vimalakirti said, it's neither worldly nor out of worldly. That's the most important thing that Vimalakirti said. So it's not worldly, and it's also not out of worldly. So it's neither being in the world nor leaving the world. According to Vimalakirti, what he meant is you need both worldly and out of worldly, and this kind of conduct and behavior is doing unconditionally. So you still do, but for no reasons at all. Most people don't know what is action, non-action, and acting unconditionally. So I need to explain this from this phrase so that you can understand. This is very difficult to explain. Action, so you intentionally act to get the beauty, and you do it. That's conditional. Condition. You want to get money, you do it to get money, you do it to get a house, you do it to get a car. That's all conditioned, or that's all conditioned action. And non-action is you don't want to get anything. You just want to leave the Saha world. And you go deep into the mountains and cultivate in the caves, and you lose contact. You don't contact anybody until you die. You plant veggies and eat it, and you cultivate all by yourself and cut off from the world. That's non-action. And Vimalakirti said, both of these are no good. If you go into the caves to cultivate, you don't benefit sentient beings, so that's no good. In Vimalakirti's opinion, that's not good. And you work so hard to make money and wanting to buy houses, cars, and to marry a beautiful girl, that's also no good. Both of them are not good. So what should you do? Vimalakirti said, you should do without condition. So you still do, but not for the house, a car, a beautiful lady, or your name, your fame, or benefits, or looks. Then that would be right. So you still do, but for no reasons. And that's the third kind. It's doing unconditionally. So I do things not for a house, a car, a beautiful lady, my name, or anything. That's called doing without condition. Now do you understand? Or acting without condition. So you need to cultivate your mind. To cultivate your mind, you need to do without condition. You don't want to do it with condition, that's too mundane. But if you don't do at all, that's too detach and too sagely,
统统加起来，
but you want to combine both,
无为而为。
and that's called doing or acting without condition.
这样听得懂吗？
Now do you understand?
所以要修养其心呐、不是要修行，你要修行，不是到深山岩洞里面去空坐。
For you to cultivate spiritually, you don't go deep into the mountain to sit all alone
跟众生没有关系。
and to cut off from all sentient
认为
beings,
说我到深山去，
because the ancient practitioners thought that
我去修行了，
they
我
just
不理
go
众生了，
leave behind the
啊
mundane
也不下
world
山了，从此
and
就
then
老
go
死在
up the
山里面。
mountain and never come down again and age
这
and
种
died
无为，
there.
维摩诘是不赞成的，
So
他不赞
that's
成这样。至于在世
called
间
this kind of non-action
赚大钱、
is
做富翁，
disapproved by Vimalakirti.
当这个政治家，
But
当
if
这
you
种
stay in the mundane
Vimalakirti
world to
认为
become a rich man or politician or
有
whatever,
心这样子做就不可以了。
and in
总
Vimalakirti's
之呢，你
opinion,
努
if you
力去
do
做
it
这些事情，
with
但
the
是见不
intent
期
or
望得到
motives,
什
that's
么，
also no good. But you do them without
这个就是
expectation at all,
无为而为。
then that's called doing without condition.
不管你是在赚钱，赚很多钱，但是你也是在做布施的工作，在救助众
So
生。
it doesn't matter how much money you
维
earn,
摩诘认为
you
这个
still
是对，
give and help
这个
sentient
是
beings.
在
That would
以
be right
功德
according to
智慧
Vimalakirti.
来修这个心，来修行。功德
So
跟智慧来修行。
you
功是在
cultivate
外，
their
德
minds
在其中，
using merit,
智
virtue, and
是在
wisdom.
外的，
So
慧是在
merit
空。
is external, virtue is
以这样
internal,
子来
and then
修
external and
修行
internal wisdom.
才是正确的。这一句的解释，
So
大
you
家讲
use
清楚。
this to cultivate spiritually. That's the explanation of this phrase.
这好像是讲过的，不过也蛮好笑。
I think I've told this
丈夫对
joke, but
妻
it's
子讲
pretty funny.
你
The
跟谁
husband
在
told the
门口
wife,
聊了3个多小时？
"Who are you
妻子讲
chatting for 3
是邻居
hours
的张太
at the
太。
front door?" And the
丈
wife
夫就讲
said, "Oh,
怎么不
Mrs.
请人
Zhang
家进来
from
家
the
里坐
neighbor,
坐？
why didn't you ask her in and sit?"
他的妻子就回
And the
答，
wife replied,
他说没有
"Oh,
时间。
because she said she had no time."
对了，我要跟大家讲啊，我
Right,
们
I
这
want to
厨
tell
房组也
you
改组了。
that
莲云
the
法师是
kitchen group has
厨房
changed.
组的组长。
That Reverend Lian Yi is the head of the kitchen.
有所谓的内厨房、外厨房，
And we
有小
have
厨房，
the
有大厨房。
inner kitchen, outer kitchen, small kitchen, big kitchen.
在那
They
个在
all
主持嘛，对不对？
managed by you.
还有莲关法师啊，
Oh, and for the big kitchen is
另外还有这
Reverend
个
Lian
伊
Guan
娃
is in charge of the big
伊娃在
kitchen.
哪里？
And Eva,
伊娃是以前做日本料理的。
Eva
他以前在的时候，
was
我们
good
就知
at
道他的菜
Japanese
色
cuisine.
非常优秀。伊娃。
And we can tell from the food she
另外还有一个
prepares.
法师
It's excellent.
连聚对，纽
And
约的连
another
聚法师
Reverend Lian Ju from New York.
他们3个，还有莲关，4个
4 of
都是
them,
高手。
they're all
伊娃的
experts
高手，
in the kitchen.
他们4个。另外还有一个店小二，店小二有来吗？
And
他跑堂的，店小二有来吗？ 啊，店小二有来啊，这个店小二也在这里。
And the
啊，
hostess.
店小二呀，啊，有一次我看到他了，我就讲说，哎，跑堂的，他说我不是跑堂，我是店小二。以后他的外号就叫店小二。
I called her, "Oh, are you the bus girl?" And she said, "No,
哇
no."
每一次这个厨房，他的跑来跑去，跑来跑去。我们应该给他升职的。来，店小二，我们以后给他升店小三。
That's her nickname.
好玩的这。不过联名啊，法师啊哈，他负责这个联观、联名啊、伊瓦这个联聚，他们都做得很好。
So, Reverend Lien Guan, Lien Ming,
改组了以后啊。
They all and Eva, they all do really,
那个菜色
really well.
都非常
So her nickname is like like a waiter, I guess. So and after they got on board, the food has become much better.
本身是，你在大学是啊。
So Reverend Lien Ming,
那个
in
就叫烹饪的。
He learned
就是学餐饮的。他高中的时候就是学餐饮。
cuisine when he was in the
那伊娃他本身是
high school.
做日本料理，他做的非常的精致。
And Eva used to open a Japanese restaurant, so what she did is extremely exquisite. So it's better than those in Japan. You know, the Japanese food in Japan is inedible. But the Japanese food that Eva made is amazing. That when the Japanese eat it, they would bite on their tongue because she did. Her cooking was just wonderful. And Lien Ji was a housewife, so she had a lot of experience. And Lien Guan was a chef before. So those are all praiseworthy, those who work in the kitchen.
那今天就讲到这里，谢谢大家。
That's all for today. Thank
非
you,
常感谢
everybody.
法王圣。